Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Real Fit Pros. It's your boy, Jonathan Loudermilk. And as always, I've got my co-pilot, my partner in crime, Mark, the fitness ninja Zalmanoff here with me. But before we get the show started, and we got a special guest, by the way, I need you to do me a favor. And if you listen to the episode, you know what's coming. I need you to take a screenshot of this, put it on Instagram, tag us at the Fit Pro Bros. Go ahead, leave us a 5-star review. It's super important so that we can help more Fit Pros get paid what they're worth, help us, help you, and more of our brothers and sisters. So with that being said, what's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
What's happening, man? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It is sunny. It is hot. I fucking love it. I'd rather sweat than shiver any day of the week, man. Good time.
I'm finally getting used to living here after about 7 years, dude. Like, it's not so bad. I'm getting used to it.
We've had a lot of mild summers lately. So one of these days it's coming. It's coming. Anyway, so we have a super special guest today, a fellow fitness professional. Always fun having Fit Pros on here to really lend more insight as to what it really takes to be successful in this business. And I can say, like, I always learn something. I know John always learns something. And I hope you listeners learn something from these people as well, because the reason we bring other Fit Pros on here is to make us all better. You know, there's no scarcity mindset with us. You know, we can all learn from each other. We can all grow with each other. And I think when we have successful people on here, it helps everyone. So this guy helps busy entrepreneurs and execs lose the extra weight without spending hours in the gym or going on crazy, hard to stick to diets, so they can buy back more time, more clarity, and more focus and create a bigger impact in the world. In the last 12 years, he's helped over 10,000 professionals get in the best shape of their lives using his personalized FAST method. That is an acronym, by the way. We'll figure out what that is. And through seeing other people succeed and hearing their success stories, it inspires him to keep moving forward and keep making a difference for his clients and their families' lives. So without further ado, I present to you Mr. Ryan Floyd. Thank you for being here, sir.
Mark, Jonathan, appreciate it.
So, you know, we just told you we always kick these shows off with story time. So what you got for us?
Story times. So without much prep, what I hear is I need to tell a dick story. Now it's funny. This is actually, now I got two, and ironically it's come from the same person. So about 3 years ago, we had a client come in on her first day. We talked about her goals. What is she wanted to, just briefly in passing, talked about what she wanted to do. She laid out this story to me personally. And then this week, actually, she decided she wanted to come back and told our coaches this story, that her goal, this is what she wants to accomplish, is she wants to be able to ride a dick for 10 minutes. and not, yeah, seriously, and not get tired or whatever. I'm like, we know each other for about 30 seconds and you're telling me this story. And then so we had a good laugh about it, and our coaches, they're all females, and they're like, I want to know who this guy is.
So I see memes in the future here. I see a great marketing campaign. And I think if you're listening, probably going to have to go check out Ryan Floyd's OnlyFans page at some point.
But no, actually, man, if you're a dude that can last 10 minutes, I got someone for you. All right.
Oh, that is great. That's fantastic. So, so Ryan, you are a gym owner. You've been a Fit Pro for a while. So tell our listeners, like, what do you do? How do you operate? What's your business currently look like? And where are you as well?
Yeah, so I'm actually in Wichita, Kansas, about 5 hours north of you guys there in Dallas Metro. And we operate a brick and mortar facility where we help busy moms in the Wichita area get back into shape. And then we also run online virtual coaching where we help the busy execs get into, or where they're able to buy back their time, and have more clarity, more focus, just like that amazing intro that you gave for me, Mark. I'd like to, you should offer those services up and charge for them. Yeah.
A great idea. You know what?
Yeah.
Our buddy Dante, I've told him I will be his personal hype man. I will just roam around and
Yes.
announce him to people. So yeah, I think that's a great business.
There you
model.
go. Right? Why not? Why not?
So talk a little bit about like, what's your background? Like, how did you get into fitness? And, it takes a special type of person to take on brick and mortar. I have brick and mortar as well, and it comes with a whole different set of headaches than just being an online coach. So what was the journey of getting to that point, and what made you take that leap to go, you know what, I'm going to have an actual physical location to serve people?
Yeah. Well, 12 years ago, online fitness wasn't really a thing. So it wasn't a big target there. So what I had to do was go out, build my own facility. This is what I knew. This is what the only thing I knew was helping people one-on-one, figure it out. Right. Unfortunately for the last 8 years, it's been jump out of the airplane, build the parachute on the way down kind of thing. But that's where we learn the most, and grow the most, and are able to develop the systems and everything in place to help and impact the most amount of people. Backstory, I'll keep it real simple because it's nothing crazy. Just like everybody else was involved in the sports, had a weight loss journey of my own before I got into doing triathlons, and I noticed the biggest difference in me and where I was at. Just about 30 pounds from where I'm sitting at currently, but just knowing the drive and mentally what I was able to accomplish more after shedding those 35 pounds off, and just really rocking and rolling from there, knowing that it's going to affect people more so than just their physical appearance, but more like, how about 3 promotions in a year for a few clients, where they're changing the trajectory of their lives, not just physically, but professionally, and helping their families, all of that. It all ties to that. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Dude, I love hearing the stories of great trainers, because typically when you get and you become a coach, the ones that come from a position of like, hey, here's what I experienced personally, and then that fuels the passion, gives you like a whole different layer of understanding with how you communicate with those clients. So how would you say that your experience has translated into like you actually being able to coach these different women and obviously, business owners and entrepreneurs now?
Yeah. Well, that was the hardest part at first was, in person, the women tend to like the community a little bit better. So that's kind of our primary demographic. And so I had to figure out women. And in fact, after, 12 years,
we're all still trying to figure that
out. Well, that's the truth. However, what I was about to say, like after 12 years, I feel like I know them more than they know themselves. There's not really a unique snowflake in the bunch. They all, it's the same problem, same solution 99% of the time. And that's been that understanding has been massively beneficial to allow us to actually scale. So yeah, so
awesome.
That's a great point. And I say it all the time, as fit pros, there's only about 4 or 5 problems that anyone ever has. And it's the same stuff over and over again. And the quicker we can understand that and embrace it, then it becomes what you're talking about. Just, okay, how do you communicate to elicit the behavior change? I know you and I have obviously talked a lot, Ryan, and you've talked about the nutrition component and how to approach that and involve that in your business. So, we see it a lot with coaches wondering, not only can I offer nutrition services, but how do I offer nutrition? What am I giving them? And, it's such a huge component of the results that people get. So talk a little bit about how you kind of began to incorporate that into your programs and what you're hoping to see from that.
Yeah. So first and foremost, you have to, for any gym owners out there wanting to include it, we have to have two memberships. You have to have a basic, your regular gym membership that you've currently been offering. If you're going to add the nutrition, it needs to be an add-on service, right? It needs to be an upper tier where they're paying a significant amount more. All right. And the reason for that is you have to be able to screen them and get their 100% commitment beforehand. All right. In the past, we've worked the nutrition piece where people weren't committed, right? They signed on for our nutrition program, but they weren't 100% committed. In order to be successful with the nutrition program, your client has to agree. And this is the hardest part in our industry, right? Like, I often wonder why I'm still in this industry, because it is literally one of the hardest things to do, is to have someone pay you for them to do more work. All right. Yeah. So backwards. However, you have to make sure that they are, when we ask on a scale of 1 to 10 on their commitment, I mean, if they're not a 9 or a 10, we don't even allow them to do our nutrition program, because not only are our coaches going to spend more time trying to track them down for them to comply with the nutrition component of our membership, and it's going to stress them out, and they're going to be spinning their wheels, and then our coaches are going to be spending more time trying to get those non-compliant people to comply, and less time actually with people who are doing what they're supposed to. So first and foremost, you have to have that 100% commitment from the client. Next, you've got to, if you do not have a registered dietitian on staff, all right, which is pretty hard to do, you can outsource that super easy, and then you just hold them accountable to, what the registered dietitian told them to do, right? So if that was part of your question, is how do we get around adding that nutrition component legally? That's the way we do it.
So a couple of things here, and if you're listening and you're a coach, I hope you're paying attention, because number one, the upsell, and a lot of coaches don't have an upsell. The greatest thing ever added to the sales game was, would you like fries with that? And you can go do the research on it. I forget what the numbers are of McDonald's, saying, would you like fries with that? Or now, would you like to supersize that? But it's billions of dollars they've created by asking the question. So the upsell is crucial in any sales game. Whatever you're selling, you need to have something else. Past whatever your offering is, you got to have an upsell to that. And then the qualification of the commitment. Jon and I work with coaches, and we have to pre-screen people, because it sounds good, but every time we've taken the wrong person in, exactly what you just said, Ryan, we're spinning our wheels. We're spending way too much time on someone who's not even doing the work. They're just making excuses. So I love the pre-screening of making sure that they're committed to that. And, sometimes then you get to the takeaway, right? It's like, well, Miss Jones, I don't think this is really for you right now. They're like, wait a minute, what? So, there's some psychology in play there. So let me ask you this. So, somebody says, I'm about a 7 of changing my nutrition, and you say, that's not good enough. Do you have a timeline of readdressing that? So say they sign up for a membership, so they're coaching with you, but they're not doing that nutrition component. Do you have a system in play to follow up with that person to say, hey, are you ready yet? Are you ready now? Are you ready now?
So no system in play for one reason. We found that if we continued to, hey, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? They'll give in, and when they're not actually ready. Okay. So one of the biggest things, and then they become the problem we were trying to avoid anyways. The biggest question the biggest follow-up that I add to the, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10 is, as I say, hey, that was such a high number, right? When they say 9 or a 10, I go, why'd you choose such a high number? And that's when we get down to the nitty gritty of exactly the reason why. And then from there, I know, like, all right, you're going to be a good fit. Versus what's common is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to make a change? And they say 7. Oh, 7's good. Why not a 10? Well, you just told them that they're not good enough. You just told a client that they're not good enough for your program anyways. And so we say, hey, 7 is a high number. Why'd you choose such a high number? And then they'll say like, well, because now is the time, or I don't have another choice, or whatever it is. And so I think that gets a better idea or a better picture of if a client's going to be ready or not. But I also look at, kind of how far they need to go too. If they've got just 5-10 pounds they want to lose, sure, yeah, we can probably help them. But our boot camps or our workouts will typically get them to that point if they haven't been trying super hard. So I don't know, does that even answer your question?
Yeah.
No, I love that. And here's what I want to ask while I've got you two guys here. Who came up with the 1 to 10 scale? Because no matter where I go, that question is asked in every single sales process that I've ever been at. All the companies I've been at, they've always asked on scale 1 to 10. Someone once upon a time came up with that question.
Long before us.
Yeah. I wonder that's actually a really good question, John. I wonder if like ACSM or NASM or one of those has it like embedded in their stuff that we're just like somewhere in our subconscious, we're just trained to do 1 to 10. But I'll tell you this though, what I do anytime I have a 1 to 10 scale, I tell people they cannot answer 7 because that's the line, right? That's the safe answer. So it really forces them to go, okay, whatever the question is, it forces them to go, do I feel really strong about this, which is that 8 to 10 range, or am I not quite as sure, which is, because 6 feels like it's only halfway for most people. So a lot of times I just preface it with, you cannot answer 7. And it really makes people, second guess just a little bit before they make an answer. So
those listening right now, I hope you're paying attention, because here are 2 different high-level fitness entrepreneurs, same question, asking it slightly differently based on the result they're looking for, and they're getting results off that. So it's not just the information, it's how do you execute it. So I love both your approaches. I think they're great.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man.
I was about to say, hey, yeah, thanks. Appreciate you.
Makes sense. It's just, just that one damn question, dude. I've worked for over 8 different companies. It's in every sales card. Every single one of them, 1 to 10. I'm like, oh, let me guess.
So, Ryan, as an entrepreneur, we definitely take on the brunt of everything, it rises and falls on us. What has been your biggest struggle as you've grown, as you've built a team, and as you start to, I know you're looking to expand later this year. So, what do you think has been the hardest part of the rise of just business growth in general?
For me personally, it's communication. That's literally where everything rides or dies on. Visionaries tend to have everything up in their head and do not relay the message very, very well. So communication and leadership has been biggest areas of growth for me, or the biggest areas of, hey, where do I need to study and improve upon and learn from the best. I think there was a study, and man, I'm gonna butcher this so bad, but it was a study done about how effective people viewed themselves as communicators, and it was some odd, like 81% of the room of execs said, like, boom, I'm a great communicator. And then once they ran the tests and like answered the questions, like 7% of them were actually good communicators. And so, when I heard that, I was like, oh man, wow, if 81% of these like super execs, right, making millions a year in these massive companies feel like they're good communicators, I know for a fact I am not. So where can I improve? And that's been a drastic, a long process, right? Like that one's a really tough one. But not only has that like helped in business, but it's helped in my marriage and helped in the way I communicate with my kids. And really, as I said, as Mark, as you introed me, like that's what it's really all about. Fitness is the gateway. It's the platform to improve all of those aspects. And so for me, it's actually helped with all of that as well, because as I'm growing as an individual for my team, by default, I'm growing better for my family. So
it's awesome.
I love that. And, you know, I think that communication piece for a lot of people, especially when you're making really, really good money, that can be a big ego thing to really admit, hey, like I'm not that great at this thing. And the more that we stay open-minded to continue to grow and understand we don't know it all, you know, I've said it 1,000 times, the more you know you don't know. You know, and you know, Ryan, you're in our Apex network with us in the executive group, and you start getting around those guys, and you're like, oh shit, I don't know a damn thing. You know, because some of those dudes think on a different level, but that's why we're there, right? Because we're still willing to learn and grow, and that's the key. And you know, again, if you're listening to this and you're a fit pro, and whether you're online or brick and mortar or a little bit of both, like the growth process never stops. And Ryan, I love that you mentioned how that translates to everything else, because so many people try to separate the work hat from the family hat from the friend hat, but really at the end of the day, you're the same human. Mm-hmm. And if you start trying to operate differently in different realms, you'll get lost.
Yeah.
You'll absolutely get lost in the fray of who the hell am I?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the other side of this. So we talked about the struggle. What's been what do you think has been the easiest part of growth? I know, right? We never talked about this.
That's the hardest question. Honestly, is once we've mastered, and I shouldn't say mastered, but once we become better communicators and better leaders, the easiest part is letting our people, our team go. Letting them find their niche, their passion. You know, I've got a coach right now who I say like a couple of things and I trust her. I know that she's going to make the right moves, and the advice that she gives our clients is going to be the best advice. And she knows that I have that confidence in her too. And so I think honestly, like when it comes to that, that's probably the easiest. And that's in a person world. On the flip side, I'm just either stupid or whatever, but like the easiest is making the decision to like grow, expand, or like invest in a big new thing. So because I know it's always worked out in the past and it always will work out, right? You know, telling you before we joined execs, I was like, well, did I budget it or no? Did I just join on a whim? Did I sign a new lease for a bigger building? Did I budget it? No, actually, I don't even know exactly how much more money it's going to cost, but I did it anyways. So probably stupid, but
just dumb enough.
Just dumb enough. And you know, my team actually was a little concerned. They're like, oh, I mean, are you sure? Like, are we going to be able to? And we're like, I don't know. Yes, let's do it. And it's the only way, right? The only way to grow. So let's roll. And I think that's kind of some of the easiest parts for me, and the parts that I look forward to the most. Yeah.
Well, I think you brought up a really good point, man, with you got to trust your team. And, you know, it's real easy to say, it's another thing to do that. And I think one of the big epiphanies I had from a mentor when I was working at this company called The Rush, he was talking about leading versus managing. And at that point, man, I didn't know how to lead or manage. I was just a guy who knew how to sell fitness and just, hey, you're good at selling fitness, you get promoted. So I'm like, cool. So as I was balancing that stuff, he shared something that I've always carried with me. And he said, if you treat your trainers like your clients, you'll be successful. And that was something I was like, if I just treat them the same way that I've treated my clients before, with genuinely wanting them to succeed and being a servant to them, well, then that should translate to, you know, my staff and my employees. And that's something that's really served me well over years. And I just wanted to share that because you made me think of that when you're like, hey, I trust this person that they're going to do the best thing and take care of this person. And, you know, that's really what the relationship is all about. So I think that's awesome, man.
Perfect. Yeah, for sure. I love it. And, I always like this one. It's I don't write the checks for my team, our clients do. And so now now on the, just to a different level, right? Like you say, like, hey, me as the leader, I need to treat my team like the clients. Now take it to the next level. And now our team needs to treat our clients like they're writing them the paycheck. Because at the end of the day, it's really truly it. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that. That's a great mindset right there. There's a theme going on here with you, Ryan, of confidence. You talk about you jump out the plane and you build the chute on the way down, you figure the shit out, right? You sign a lease for a new building, yeah, we'll figure it out. So where does that confidence come from? Because we operate with a lot of confident people around us. And for a lot of them, there's usually a root somewhere. So have you always kind of operated this way, or is this a skill set that you've just developed when you realize, shit always kind of works out,
No, that's not a great skill set to have, by the way. So I'll tell you the little history, like, probably growing up, I was super confident. High school hit, not at all. I probably talked the fewest words in high school. I was probably the bottom 10% of the most confident people coming out of high school. It was, my parents were super worried about me. Big changes from 8th grade to freshman year. College kind of came back into that confidence swing of things. And here's the deal with confidence. You have to stack the victories and not belittle them or downplay your victories, right? You become confident by knowing that and by recognizing your successes and understanding and having that full trust in yourself that you are going to figure it out, that, you make things happen, not the other way around. Things don't happen to you, things happen because of you. And mentors in my first business have taught me that. And from then on, that has given me literally all the confidence that I needed, like, to make the decisions spur of the moment. We'll figure it out. And not hey, and not lackadaisical, figure it out. Yeah, there's more rhyme or reason to it. It's easy to say that and joke about it, but knowing that, hey, things happen because of you means that you're in control. And when you're in control, or when you have the confidence in being in control, you're good. I love being a control freak, man. I do.
And I love that you stated the difference of I'll figure it out and we'll figure it out, because those can go two different ways. But when you stack the wins and you know that you always will come up with a solution and you have a track record of that, I think that's what affords someone like you to say, I'll figure it out. And you're not saying it in that like whimsical way of, we'll figure it out. Like, no, you're going to figure the shit out because that's what you do and that's how you operate.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is when a problem arises, it's like, let's just say, hey, I need to make an extra 10 grand to pay rent or whatever. When we ask ourselves the question, how can I, versus, man, why am I 10 grand broke? Why am I 10 grand less? Or why am I short on this bill? It's how can I make 10 grand? It opens up our mind. Our mind goes to all the answers versus why can't I? Well, because and then the negative self-talk comes through, right? But you change that question one time, one way, how can I? And now all of a sudden the subconscious goes through the hundreds of possibilities. Well, now that even as I grow and open up my mind to more opportunities and more possibilities, now the thousands of possibilities and the thousands of ways to make a little bit more money to cover that nut or whatever it is. There's a very powerful difference when a problem comes up to us, is how can I solve it?
I hope if you're listening to this, you're writing that down, because he just gave you your 6-figure ticket right there, which is the magic number that everybody wants to hit until they realize it's not that much money.
True.
And, it's interesting because that's one of those things that I think it gets said a lot, that, ask yourself, how can I, instead of you can't, and it becomes cliche, but there's truth in those cliches. And the reason these things get repeated is because they're fucking true.
Mm.
So,
True.
I hope you guys are listening and picking up on this stuff, because this is stuff that works, and this is coming from someone who has been very successful and continues to grow in this industry. And the entrepreneur roller coaster is insane. And if we're not thinking in those positive manners, if we're not looking for the solution instead of focusing on the problem, you will fail. Trust me, I've been there. Many of us have. And so that mindset shift is huge. Man, this has been great, dude. You're just dropping nuggets left and right, and
There's so many parallels. Like, you've got the whole, like, I'll figure it out. I had another mentor that would say it'll be there. No matter what. Hey, what do we got to do in revenue? I don't know. It'll be there. And then by hook or by crook, we'd figure that out by the last day of the month.
Some country right there.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. So as we start to wrap this up a little bit, I have a couple of fun questions.
Ooh, Marc's famous questions.
Yes. I don't even know what I'm getting into here.
They're different each time.
Yeah, they are. I don't even know.
As excited as you are.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Good.
What is a personal athletic feat that you are most proud of in your life?
Man, I don't know. Most proud of, recently I ran 8.2 miles in a 5K. Don't ask me how, but
awesome.
I like to defy all odds. If you want me to elaborate, I will, but let's roll athletic feat.
Didn't you say you did a triathlon at some point?
Yeah, I used to do triathlons. At the time, that was, I think everything depends on the stage of the life, the stage of where you're at in life, right? We did Olympic triathlons is what we just started with, and this is kind of my mantra from day one. Like, growing up my entire life, it's literally been go big or go home. Like you just said, is I didn't start with a sprint triathlon like most people do. Started with an Olympic one, so it's a much longer distance. Never ran. I'm not like a big runner or anything like that. I had asthma growing up, and so I guess January 1 of this year, one of my coaches is a runner, and he was going to run a half marathon, and he goes, I go, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go do it with you. Okay, cool. And but I'm not going to train for it.
Just gonna go do it.
Just gonna go do it. And I think, and I did that on purpose. Not that I wanted to put myself, I wanted to put myself through misery because I wanted to see how strong my mind was. And I've always been able to, like almost any athletic feat, been able to accomplish it. But I wanted to say, all right, untrained, I went and I did this to show and prove the power of the mind versus the power of the body, right? When we are physically done and exhausted, we literally have like 80% more left, if not more, right? And so, for me, I think my average mile was like 10 seconds slower than, my coach who runs all the time. And come hell or high water, right? January 1, we had the biggest snowstorm of our lives, right? The race actually got canceled. And the race got canceled because it was like 3 foot of snow. And you from Texas wouldn't understand, but and the race was supposed to start at 8:30. And I said, well, you know what? I'm running this half marathon at 8:30. from my house. There's not a car on the road, and I'm running through down the streets, up and down, running through 20-degree weather. I got sleet running into my face. There's snow pouring down, and I still did it. And I did it 10 seconds per mile slower than my coach, who waited until the snow melted to do his that day, right? And so, for me, I was like, yeah, I would have kicked his ass, because that's what I do. I win. All right. So yeah. So I think, honestly, that's probably the bigger one, is being able to accomplish something with my mind, and not my body. So
I dig it. All right, next question. What is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
I don't know if it's Little Debbie. They just came out with like these birthday cake little cupcakes with a little cream filling in it. I think it's like a little knockoff version, but man alive, are those things to die for. My neighbor brought them over to my daughter one time, and I was stealing her freaking cupcakes. Man, they were good. Yeah, that's probably it. Either that or the cosmic brownies. Like those are
Can't go wrong with cosmic brownie.
Yeah.
All right, last question. If you could have a billboard with a message on it that everyone would see, what message would you put on the billboard?
The best is yet to come.
I love it. Simplicity.
Good.
Never peak. The best is yet to come.
That's awesome, man. Dude.
Maybe.
You're awesome.
Maybe like buy my shit. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
One of those two. Yeah, one of those two.
I'm not opposed with your website right at the bottom. Buy my shit. I mean, somebody would. Billie Jean sold nothing for money. So
yeah, right.
Really,
I mean, that's true. I'm gonna check and see if buymyshift.com's taken and how much it costs. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Careful searching that. Just make sure you're on the search engine that does it.
Yeah, actually, I think there's probably all these rules and regulations saying you can't have curse words in your URLs, probably. So, anyways, yeah.
I dig it, dude. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for being on here. Tell the people where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can find out more information about your programs, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm executives and guys, I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I think it's LinkedIn/IN/Coach-Ryan. Like, yeah, that's the profile, Coach Ryan. On LinkedIn. Otherwise, Instagram, Ryan.A.Floyd. Not super big on Instagram. I'm still, although I feel old. Try to do the Instagram. Not super great at it. But eventually I'll hire a 16-year-old to take that over, and then we'll be great. Yeah.
That's a great.
So yeah, that, for sure. My 3-year-old will be doing it for me soon. So.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate you being on. Again, if you're listening, go follow this man. He's doing awesome stuff in the fitness space. We're in some networking shit together that we're trying to change the world. So be on the lookout for all that good stuff. Jon, you know what to do, homie.
The best part of the show. And as always, be like Ryan Floyd and go get what you're worth. Yeah.
Damn.
Good show.
Damn.